What if the man you spent years trying to control with fines and rules had quietly bought the very ground you stand on? What if every ticket you wrote, every sneer you threw, every power trip you took was building a case against yourself? What if the quiet veteran you targeted for a flagpole 6 inches too tall turned out to be the silent majority who could erase your entire kingdom with a single vote? Welcome to Honorbound Tales. Before we dive in, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and comment your location down below. We need to know how far these stories of unbreakable honor and ice-cold justice are traveling across the planet. Let's get into it. Willow Creek Estates, outside Charlotte, North Carolina, gated, manicured, and governed by one of the most weaponized HOAs in the Southeast. White columns, identical mailboxes, and a board that treats the covenant like the Bible, the Constitution, and a personal vendetta all rolled into one. At the helm sits Regulation Rhonda Caldwell, 54 years old, former middle school principal, current self-appointed guardian of property values. Rhonda's weapon of choice isn't a gavel. It's a fluorescent yellow measuring tape and a stack of pre-printed violation notices that she hands out like communion wafers. Retired Marine Sergeant First Class Marcus Jackson moved into 4127 Patriot Lane 18 months ago. 62 years old, Purple Heart, 2 tours in Fallujah, 1 in Afghanistan. He keeps his lawn at exactly 2.5 inches, edges sharper than his dress blues, and the only thing he ever asked for was permission to install a 20-foot flagpole in his front yard so he could fly the Stars and Stripes and the Marine Corps Standard side by side. The Architectural Review Committee took one look at the application and stamped denied. Reason? The pole exceeded the maximum height by 6 inches. Rhonda personally delivered the rejection letter with a post-it note that read, "Standards keep us civilized." Marcus didn't argue. He simply installed the pole anyway. Black steel, solar-lighted cap, 2 flags snapping clean in the Carolina breeze. 3 days later, Rhonda rolled up in her white HOA-branded golf cart, measuring tape flapping like a battle flag. She circled the pole 3 times, took photos from 4 angles, and slapped a neon orange violation sticker on the base. $500 per day until removal. Day 4, the fine became a lien. Day 10, Rhonda filed for forced removal and auction of the pole. She posted the notice on the community Facebook group with the caption, "Finally, cleaning up Patriot Lane." Neighbors watched from behind curtains. Some clapped emojis, some private messaged Marcus support but begged him not to quote them. Nobody wants to be next. Marcus just kept watering his roses and raising those flags every morning at dawn. He never missed a salute. The monthly HOA board meeting fell on the 3rd Thursday. Rhonda ran it like a courtroom. 7 board members, all white, all over 55, all handpicked by Rhonda over the years. They met in the clubhouse beside the pool nobody was allowed to use after 8 p.m. Rhonda started every meeting the same way, reading the covenant like scripture, then moving to the fine report. That night, she lit up when she got to Patriot Lane. Item 17, she announced, voice dripping with satisfaction. Resident Jackson, flagpole violation ongoing. Total fines to date, $22,500. Recommendation, lien foreclosure and forced sale of the offending structure. She clicked her PowerPoint. A blown-up photo of Marcus's pole appeared with a red circle and non-compliant in bold. A few board members chuckled. One clapped. The doors at the back of the room opened quietly. A man in a plain black hoodie walked in, hood up, hands in pockets. Nobody recognized him first. He took the last seat in the back row. Rhonda barely glanced up. "Homeowners are welcome to observe," she said without looking, "but comments are limited to 3 minutes and must be on tonight's agenda." The meeting rolled on. Pool hours, holiday decoration limits, a new ban on basketball hoops that could be seen from the street. Rhonda was in her element, voice rising with every new restriction. Then, agenda item 22, budget approval for new speed bumps and a 3rd security patrol. Rhonda clicked to the final slide. A bar graph showing reserve funds at just over $3.8 million. Healthy and growing, she bragged, thanks to aggressive enforcement. That's when the man in the hoodie stood up. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a single sheet of paper. Walked to the front of the room. Rhonda finally looked at him. Her smirk froze. Marcus pulled the hood back. The room went dead silent. "Mr. Jackson," Rhonda recovered quickly, "you're out of order. Sit down or be removed." Marcus didn't sit. He placed the paper on the podium. Under Article 12, Section 4 of the Willow Creek Covenants, any member owning 51% or more of the lots may call a special vote to dissolve the association. I'm calling it. Rhonda laughed. Actually laughed. "You own one lot, Sergeant. Sit down." Marcus tapped the paper. "Willow Creek Holdings, LLC currently owns 218 of the 320 total lots. That's 68.1%. He turned the page toward the board. A notary seal gleamed under the projector light. "Purchased quietly over the last 22 months. Distress sales, foreclosures, panic moves during COVID. Every deed recorded, every proxy signed over to me personally." You could hear the air conditioning hiss. Rhonda's face went the color of printer paper.
Marcus continued, voice calm, almost gentle. "Under the same article, dissolution requires only a majority of the controlling entity. That's me. Effective immediately, Willow Creek HOA is dissolved. All board positions are vacated, all contracts terminated, all fines nullified." He clicked a remote. The screen behind him changed to a live feed from the county clerk's office. A time-stamped filing appeared. Dissolution accepted 7:42 p.m. Rhonda lunged for the paper. "This is fraud! You can't—" Marcus cut her off without raising his voice. "Every fine you wrote, every lien you filed, every threatening letter you mailed on HOA letterhead is now a personal tort. North Carolina General Statute 47F 3102. I've already forwarded the packet to the Attorney General. Conversion, extortion, abuse of process. The LLC will be seeking treble damages." He clicked again. A new slide. A GoFundMe titled Sergeant Jackson's Military Kids Scholarship Fund, already at $98,000 and climbing. "Every dollar of the former HOA reserves will be transferred here by noon tomorrow. Every canceled fine refunded with interest. Every board member who voted for foreclosure will receive a personal invoice for legal fees." Rhonda's mouth opened and closed like a fish on a dock. One board member started crying. Another pulled out his phone and started typing what looked a lot like a resignation email. Marcus wasn't finished. He walked to the American flag pinned to the clubhouse wall, the one Rhonda had insisted must be taken down every night at sunset because tattered flags lower property values. He unclipped it, folded it into a perfect triangle the way they teach you in boot camp, tucked it under his arm. "One more thing," he said, turning back to the room. "The flagpole stays, forever, and every house that wants one gets one free, installed by veterans, paid for by the scholarship fund." He looked straight at Rhonda. "You wanted standards, ma'am. Here they are." The room erupted. Some residents stood and applauded, others filmed on their phones. Rhonda tried to speak, but no words came. Security, the same guys who used to write tickets for kids chalking sidewalks, just stood there with their mouths open. By morning, the story was everywhere. Local news, then national. #FlagpoleMarine trended for 48 straight hours. The scholarship fund hit $2.4 million in 4 days. Rhonda's house went up for sale 2 weeks later, listed at 62% of what she paid. Nobody bid. Marcus's LLC bought it for cash, turned it into a transitional home for homeless vets. Marcus never moved his flagpole. He added a third flag, POW-MIA, black and white, flapping right beside the others. Every morning at 0600, he's out there in his coveralls, coffee in one hand, rendering a slow salute. Kids riding bikes stop and put hands over their hearts. Cars slow down. Nobody honks anymore. Rhonda? Last anyone heard, she was working the returns desk at a big box store in Rock Hill. Rumor is she measures shopping carts now, making sure they're exactly the right size. Marcus never raised his voice, never filed a single complaint. He just waited, bought the battlefield one deed at a time, and when the moment came, he didn't need a weapon. He just needed the truth. So I want to hear from you. What's the most ridiculous HOA rule you've ever seen enforced? What fine made you want to scream? Drop it in the comments and tell us where you're watching from, because these stories are crossing oceans now. Like, subscribe, ring that bell. This is Honorbound Tales, where dignity doesn't need permission and justice doesn't knock. It owns the deed. We'll see you in the next one. Stay honorable.